Moving on, a ceasefire appears to be holding in Sweida province after Syrian security forces were deployed to the region. Government troops have set up checkpoints to prevent outsiders from joining the fighting. According to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, more than 1,000 people have been killed in sectarian clashes between Bedouin fighters and Druze militias over the past week. For more on this, we can cross to London and bring in Yossi Mekelberg, who is a senior consulting fellow with the Middle East and North Africa program at Chatham House. Yossi, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Now, as we've been reporting, a lot has happened over the past week in Syria, especially in Sweida province. Can you tell us a little bit about why the Druze and the Bedouin tribes have been fighting each other?
This was unfortunately an eventful week for all the wrong reasons. And what happened after the fall of the oppressive regime of Bashar al-Assad, it's also opened a lot of rivalries that have been brewing for decades, if not longer than this. It's about control in these kind of places. There are economic rivalries, there is historical rivalries between different groups. And again, unfortunately, the Druze community is a minority. It's not more than 3% of the population in Syria have been persecuted for a very long time. They themselves don't trust the government, and as we could see, they were defenseless over the last week or even before that. And as you reported, more than 1,000 people had been killed. There were, beyond this persecution, there are reports about rape, mutilation, about humiliation of some of their elders. And I think this is more than anything else right now, the importance of restoring law and order, ceasefire, but also this is a test for the central government whether they can maintain law and order across the country.
Now, we saw this conflict draw in Israel. Earlier over the past week, they bombed, Israeli security bombed Damascus. Why are the Israelis so intent on protecting Syria's Druze community?
So I think it's worth reminding our viewers that actually Israel responded immediately after the fall of the Assad regime in December and took over some territory beyond occupied Golan Heights, moving what's known as the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights into the Syrian Golan Heights and established some outposts over there. And this is already there from December. It used military force almost to eliminate the Syrian Air Force, Navy, and last week attacking the defense ministry. So part of it has to do with Israel saying that the unstable Syria poses danger and threats to Israel, and as a result, they extend their incursion into Syria. The other thing is there is a long-standing alliance between Israelis and Druze within Israelis. Druze are almost the only one to have compulsory military service within Israel, and there were also mounting pressure from the Druze community within Israel to go for Israel to defend its brethren on the Syrian side of the border. Whether this is the main reason or actually this is also a signal from Israel that it can do as it does in other fronts, every threat will be encountered with military force. The answer remains to be seen.
I want to circle back to a comment that you made answering one of the earlier questions. You were talking about the stability of the Syrian government. As we had said, there's over 1,000 dead. The UN is saying that more than 128,000 people have been internally displaced due to the latest violence. So the interim government has a lot on its hands. Can President al-Shara keep his country from fracturing after coming out from the civil war?
And this is his big test. He's in control of around 60-70% of Syria, not the entire territory and its population. There are a lot of foreign powers that are involved in Syria, including Israel and Turkey and others, and whether is capable for uniting at least most of faction within Syria. Can he actually include them within the military and have an orderly military and police and impose law and order? I think that's one, it's test, but at the same time, it's also a test for the international community to support him in doing so. So to put him to the test, I think one of the positive moves were actually removing the sanction over Syria and enabling Syria to develop its economy, but it's not going to happen if there is political instability. And nation building and state building it's a tough task. We saw it in Iraq. We see it in Libya. It takes time, and it can go either towards control by the central government. But at the end of the day, if the minorities are not guaranteed, their rights are not protected, they will try and look for their own security and will arm themselves, and probably with the support from the outside.
Yossi, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us. That's Yossi Mekelberg from the Middle East and North Africa program at Chatham House.